Imagine growing up with two fathers. One father is highly educated, a PhD, a government job, a stable salary, and a pension waiting at retirement. He tells you, go to school, get good grades, find a safe job, and save your money. The other father never finished school past the 8th grade, but by the time he was middle-aged, he was one of the wealthiest men in the entire state. He tells you, school will never teach you about money. You have to learn that yourself. Same boy, two completely different financial philosophies, two completely different destinies. Welcome to Book Essence, where we unlock the essence of every book so you get the wisdom without spending weeks reading. Today, we are breaking down one of the best-selling personal finance books of all time, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This book has sold over 40 million copies worldwide. It has changed the financial thinking of an entire generation, and today, we unlock its most powerful lessons for you. The rich do not work for money. The very first and most powerful lesson in this book is this: the poor and middle class work for money. The rich make money work for them. Most people spend their entire lives trapped in what Kiyosaki calls the rat race. Here is how the rat race works. You need money, so you get a job. The job pays you a salary. You use the salary to pay bills. As your salary grows, your lifestyle grows with it. Your expenses always rise to meet your income, and so you need more money, so you work harder, and the cycle repeats forever. Fear drives people into the rat race. The fear of not paying rent, the fear of losing the job, the fear of what people will think if you take a risk, and desire keeps them there. The desire for a bigger house, a newer car, the next promotion, the next raise. Kiyosaki says that most people never escape this cycle because they never stop to question it. They were never taught to question it. School teaches you how to be a good employee. It does not teach you how to build wealth. The rich understand something the poor and middle class do not, that a job is not the destination, it is a starting point. The real goal is to build assets that generate income whether you work or not. Assets versus liabilities. This is the single most important financial concept in the entire book, and it is so simple it will shock you that nobody taught you this in school. Kiyosaki gives us the clearest definition of assets and liabilities you will ever hear. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. That's the whole secret. Rich people spend their lives acquiring assets. Poor and middle-class people spend their lives acquiring liabilities, while mistakenly believing those liabilities are assets. Here is the most controversial example in the book. Your house is not an asset. For most people, their home is their biggest expense. Mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, insurance. Every month, money flows out of your pocket because of your house. That makes it a liability. A true asset generates income. A rental property that pays you every month, that's an asset. A business that runs without you, that's an asset. Stocks that pay dividends, those are assets. Intellectual property that earns royalties, that's an asset. Kiyosaki says the rich focus obsessively on building their asset column. Every extra dollar they earn goes into buying more assets. Those assets generate more income. That income buys more assets. And slowly, their money starts working harder than they do. The middle class buys liabilities and calls them assets. The rich buy assets that put real money in their pockets every month. This one distinction, understood and applied, can completely transform your financial life. Work to learn, not to earn. Kiyosaki says there's a distinction that most people find surprising. He says there's a difference between your profession and your business. Your profession is what you do for someone else, what you get paid for. Your business is what you own, your asset column. A doctor's profession is medicine, but if that doctor owns a real estate portfolio that generates passive income, that's their business. A teacher's profession is education, but if that teacher builds an online course that earns money while they sleep, that's their business. Kiyosaki urges readers to keep their day job if needed, but to start minding their own business at the same time. That means start building your asset column today. Start small if must, but start. Buy one book about investing. Learn one thing about real estate. Start one small side income. Build one small asset. The goal is to reach the point where your assets generate enough monthly income to cover all your expenses. That's what financial freedom actually means. Not $1 million in the bank, not a fancy job title. Freedom when your money earns more than your expenses, every single month. The history of taxes and corporations. Here's something the rich know that most people never learn. Kiyosaki explains how the tax system works differently for employees versus business owners. An employee earns money and immediately pays taxes on it. Whatever is left after taxes, they spend on living expenses. They earn, they tax, they spend. A business owner earns money through their corporation, spends on business expenses first, and then pays taxes only on what remains. They earn, they spend, they tax. This difference, though it sounds small, creates an enormous gap in wealth over a lifetime. The wealthy use legal corporate structures to protect their income, reduce their tax burden, and build wealth faster. This is not cheating, this is financial literacy. The laws that allow this exist for everyone, but most people never learn about them because schools never teach financial literacy. Kiyosaki says financial intelligence is not just about making money, it's about keeping money and making that money work for you as efficiently as possible. The rich invent money. One of the most exciting lessons in this book is this: the rich don't just find opportunities, they create them. Kiyosaki argues that financial intelligence has 4 components. The first is accounting, the ability to read numbers and understand what they are telling you about a business or investment. The second is investing, the science of making money work for you, understanding how capital grows and compounds over time. The third is understanding markets, the laws of supply and demand, knowing what people want, when they want it, and how to deliver it. The fourth is the law, understanding regulations, tax advantages, and corporate structures that protect and grow your wealth. The person who combines all 4 of these skills has an enormous advantage over everyone else. Kiyosaki says most people never develop these skills because they are too afraid to make mistakes, but he argues that mistakes are exactly how financial intelligence grows. Every failed investment taught him something that no classroom could. Every loss made him sharper, smarter, and more aware. The goal is not to avoid risk. The goal is to manage risk intelligently, to become someone whose financial education is so strong that they can see opportunities where others only see danger. Work to learn, not to earn. Kiyosaki teaches a final powerful lesson that reframes how you think about your career. Most people take jobs for the paycheck. Kiyosaki says the smartest thing a young person can do is take jobs for what they will learn. He spent time in sales, not because he loved selling, but because he knew that communication and selling are skills that pay dividends for an entire lifetime. He studied marketing, management, investing, and leadership, not in classrooms, but in the field, by doing, by failing, by learning from people who knew more than him. He says the world is full of talented, educated, hard-working people who are broke, because talent and hard work alone don't build wealth. What builds wealth is financial literacy, the right mindset, the courage to take calculated risks, and the hunger to keep learning long after school ends. The most dangerous words in the English language, he says, are these 4. I can't afford it. The moment you say those words, your brain stops working. Instead, ask yourself the question that changes everything. How can I afford it? Your brain is a problem-solving machine. Give it the right question, and it will find an answer. Let's bring together the greatest lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. 1. The rich do not work for money. They build systems where money works for them. 2. Know the difference between assets and liabilities. Spend your life acquiring assets, things that put money in your pocket. 3. Mind your own business. Build your asset column alongside your career, starting today. 4. Financial literacy is the most valuable education nobody teaches in school. Learn it yourself. 5. The rich invent opportunities by combining accounting, investing, market knowledge, and legal understanding. 6. Work to learn, not to earn. Every experience is an investment in your financial intelligence. Robert Kiyosaki always with a challenge that has inspired millions. The size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dream, and how you handle disappointment along the way. Do not let fear keep you in the rat race. Do not let comfort keep you from building something real. Start learning, start building, start today. That's the essence of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that's what we do here at Book Essence. We take the world's most powerful books and unlock their wisdom so you can start applying it to your life right now. If this video brought you value, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message today. Every week on Book Essence, a new book, a new lesson, a new chance to grow. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and keep unlocking your essence. See you in the next one.